Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. It is deer mating season, and that means more car accidents involving deer on the road. To explain that, Robert Sinclair, Manager of Media Relations, AAA Northeast. Connect the dots on that.
Well, what happens is the deer start getting together. They become very skittish. This is mating season. They get pregnant now, carry the babies through the winter and birth them in spring. So they become very skittish at this time of year, very amped up and have strange behavior. And we see deer crashes go up significantly in the months of October, November, and December. Last year in New Jersey, in fact, in November, there were more than 2,200 deer crashes, with Monmouth County being the #1 county for a deer crash. In New York, for the 3 months, the last year we had data was 2017, and it was more than 9,700 crashes in October, November, December in the state of New York, with Oneida County #1 in the state. So it's significantly higher. It's going up since we started really looking at the data back in 2009. It gets higher and higher every year.
It is a real serious problem on New Jersey roads. Sure. And causes an immense amount of damage to vehicles.
They travel in herds usually. You'll see them in herds by the side of the road, and that's something to look for, especially at dusk. Generally between 5 and 7 p.m. is when we see 75 to 85% of the crashes, depending on where you are. They're generally during darkness, and that's the time that they get
and they
excited.
run in the road.
They'll run in the road, yeah. They'll just run in the road without being, with no predictability. They're predictably unpredictable. So, we recommend people that they scan the side of the road, look for them, and be prepared that if you do see some, that they might run out in the road.
Is there anything you can really do, though, if you're driving down the road and the deer darts out?
There are supposed devices that, like dog whistles, you put them on the front of the vehicle and they'll make a sound that will scare the deer away. Well, it's hard to prove a non-event. How do you know that the deer did not run out in the road because of the device, or they just weren't going to run out in the road anyway? So, none of those devices, as far as we're concerned, work. Use your basic skills to be aware of these kind of things and avoid them.
So, but how do you avoid them? I guess that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So do you just go slower in areas
Absolutely.
where you would think that there was forest on the sideline?
Following the speed limit, going slower is more important. Some of the advice is counterintuitive, because people see a deer, they might swerve out of the way, but you consider if you're on a major highway and you swerve, you might run into other vehicles. If you're on a country road, you swerve to the left, you're going to go into oncoming traffic. You swerve to the left, you might go into a tree. So the advice is essentially, if you see a deer in the road, hit it. Don't swerve, right? Step on the brakes. Sometimes it's even not good to step on the brakes hard, because that promotes front end dive of the vehicle. And if you hit the animal rolling up the hood, I know the incentive is there not to hit it. And I've given this advice before and have been castigated because of the poor deer. But think about your family in the vehicle. Think about children, your husband, your wife, and what have you, and getting into a major crash because of avoiding a deer. We'd rather save the human beings inside than the deer. So that advice applies. If you see those deer, be prepared. Remember, it's generally going to happen during the evening rush, and take appropriate action.
Let me move on to another topic, sure, because the Port Authority is getting rid of the discount for carpooling. AAA has a stance on this?
Yes, and they're going to cashless tolling, which is something we're generally in favor of because it helps move the traffic better. They are getting rid of all traffic agents, toll agents, and it is through the actions of a toll agent verifying the requisite number of vehicles, requisite number of people in a vehicle, at least 3, that you get that carpool discount, a significant one. $6.50 rather than $12.50 if you have an easy pass. So going to cashless tolling, they're getting rid of that, and they say, well, it's only 3% of the vehicles that are using, for example, the George Washington Bridge. But that bridge carries 276,000 vehicles a day. Now, the toll is only collected in one direction, but potentially it's more than 8,000 vehicles. And I was at the bus stop that precedes the toll plazas, and there are people lining up and vehicles lining up, drivers looking for passengers so that they meet the requirements, and passengers looking for what might be a free ride into the city.
Which is a good thing. All that's a good thing.
All a good thing.
It's a bit of a quandary for you, though, because you're in favor of the cashless toll booths.
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, how do you remedy it so that they can allow to have the discount for carpooling?
Well, one of the things you could do is perhaps leave just that one person there to verify the number of people in that vehicle. It's only from 7 to 9 a.m. on weekdays, so we're talking about a person with 2 hours worth of work. And that would be a simple thing. There might be some technology that is extant that could take care of that. We've heard about technology in California that verifies the requisite number of people to use the HOV lanes or the hot lanes, as they're known. But something has to be done. Governor Murphy has gone on record that he is in favor of that kind of thing. Carpooling helps to take vehicles off the road. If those people did not have the chance to carpool, if they got into their own vehicle, we're talking about an additional, who knows, 8,000 people, 16,000 people in their vehicles using the facilities, and that bridge is congested enough, the facilities are congested enough such that we should try and keep this
Can
going.
anything really happen, though? It sounds like it's going to happen.
If the will is there, it can happen. You know, technology exists. The Port Authority is building airports and ports and everything. They could build the necessary facility. They talk about the pick up and drop, or the pickup points at the bridge are unsafe.
I know they have the ability to make it happen,
Yeah.
but is there going to be enough pressure on them to make it happen?
Well, perhaps with the governor on the side of wanting it to happen. Remember, this is a Jersey situation because people are queuing up on the Jersey side because that's where the toll is collected.
Real quick, this is the time right now to get your car ready for the winter.
Yes, indeed. Make sure your battery's in good shape. Batteries lose power as the temperature goes down. Battery loses 30% of its power when the temperature is near freezing. Battery loses 60% of its power when that temperature is near zero. If your battery has gone dead, have it replaced. Have it tested at least, and if it's not coming up to snuff, have it replaced. Make sure your fluids have been changed, the synthetic motor oil that'll ease starting in the winter. Make sure the coolant is in good shape, get the brakes checked out, those sort of things. You don't want to be stranded by the side of the road when the weather is cold. It's a dangerous situation as well as being inconvenient.
Thank you very much. You're
You're
always great.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
No,
Robert
thank you.
Sinclair, Manager of Media Relations, AAA Northeast. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, service dogs do save lives. We talk to a local veteran who is living proof when Jersey Matters continues.